Hi everyone, my name is Justin. I'm one of the astronomers here at the Science Museum of Virginia, and I'm happy to be here today to share some of the top stories from space in 2020. Well, for most of this year, we were safer staying close to home, so let's focus on things that happened here in the solar system. I've narrowed a long list down to 5 top topics, and let's start with number 5, telescope treasures. Several observatories marked big milestones in 2020, starting back in January with the Spitzer Space Telescope. This observatory was retired, ending a 16-year mission observing the universe in infrared light. Its observations included black holes, the weather on brown dwarfs, and it helped discover new exoplanets. One of its biggest discoveries here in the solar system dates back to 2009, when Spitzer spotted a brand new ring around the planet Saturn. This dark, dusty ring is invisible to the human eye. It's thought to be composed of material lofted off of the surface of one of the small moons here, named Phoebe. And if I zoom in here just a little bit, you might be able to see how this gigantic ring compares to the more familiar ring system. Another telescope in the news in 2020 was the Hubble Space Telescope. In April, Hubble marked its 30th anniversary. It was launched in 1990, and in the last 3 decades, it has made over 1 million observations of galaxies, stars, and nebulae. But every blue dot you now see on your screen represents an observation of a planet, moon, comet, or asteroid here in the solar system. We expect a lot more good stuff from the Hubble Space Telescope in coming years, but no recap of 2020 would be complete without mentioning the Arecibo Observatory. In the second half of the year, multiple cable failures led to damage to the reflecting dish of this giant radio telescope, and ultimately, on December 1st, the suspended platform holding the transmitters and receivers collapsed, ending nearly 60 years of pivotal observations of pulsars. Arecibo discovered the first exoplanets, and here in the solar system, its number 1 target was asteroids. It has observed hundreds of asteroids, helping us understand their sizes, shapes, and orbits around the Sun, so we can better understand whether they pose any threat to the Earth. Number 4 on our countdown, mysterious molecule. This story involves radio observations of the planet Venus. In September, a team of astronomers announced that they had detected a signal suggesting a gas called phosphine existed in the atmosphere of Venus at relatively high concentrations. They did their best to explain it, but they came up short, suggesting that something truly unusual, maybe something biological, existed in the atmosphere of Venus, was creating this gas. Now, in the months since, continued scientific debate and new analysis by the original team cast some doubt on this story. There's a chance there's much less phosphine in the atmosphere of Venus, and it may be totally natural, so we'll have to watch this story for further developments next year. Up next, a red planet race. During a 2-week period in late July, 3 different rockets lifted off from the Earth, carrying new spacecraft bound for Mars. The United Arab Emirates, China, and the United States all have new spacecraft headed to the red planet as we speak. Now, all 3 missions are scheduled to arrive in February, so we'll have to wait until 2021 for more updates from these exciting missions. In the meantime, it's time for the number 2 topic on our list, extended exploration. In November, we passed the 20th anniversary of the arrival of Expedition 1 to the International Space Station. Every day, for the last 2 decades, astronauts have been living and working in space. But for the last 9 years, all of these crews have launched on Russian rockets. In May, for the first time since 2011, astronauts launched from the Kennedy Space Center in Florida. In this case, using SpaceX's Falcon 9 rocket and their Crew Dragon spacecraft. Also, in December, NASA announced the selection of 18 astronauts to serve on the Artemis team. They'll begin training for NASA's planned return to the moon, so perhaps one of these astronauts will be the next human to set foot on the surface of another world. Up next, and the number 1 topic for 2020, cosmic collections. The thing I'm really going to remember 2024 were sample return missions, starting with OSIRIS-REx at the asteroid Bennu. After a couple of practice runs in late October, OSIRIS-REx descended to the surface of the asteroid to collect a sample. Pretty spectacular event. Good news is, the sample collection device was overflowing with material from the asteroid. The mission team hurried to stow the sample safely for return to the Earth. Here we see the sample return capsule being sealed. It won't be opened again until the spacecraft drops it off at Earth in 2023. But OSIRIS-REx wasn't the only sample return mission underway this year. Here we see the sample return capsule from Japan's Hayabusa 2 mission returning after a multi-year journey to the asteroid Ryugu and back. The capsule safely landed in Australia, where it was recovered, and the samples are now back in Japan awaiting analysis by mission scientists. Finally, at Earth's moon, China's Chang'e 5 mission landed in a region called the Ocean of Storms, collected a sample, and, as of this recording, is in the process of returning it to the Earth. If successful, this will be the first return of lunar samples since the 1970s. All of these sample return missions should teach us something new and exciting about the worlds they visited, helping us better understand our place in the solar system and our solar system's relationship to the rest of the universe. So, as 2020 wraps up with a great conjunction between the planets Jupiter and Saturn, I hope you see that the solar system has a lot to offer us, and I think we have a lot to look forward to in 2021. I'll see you next year.